Alrighty. Howdy YouTube. This is my new series where I'm going to go over some chess games. And instead of just having a PGN viewer animator, I'm actually going to play out the portable game notation on this chessboard. I'm going to go over the Sicilian defense dragon variation and the Levenfish variation that's going to counter that as for the white. Viktor Korchnoi versus Boris Spassky. This is from Leningrad, 1948. Spassky has the Sicilian, is playing black, and Korchnoi is playing Levenfish variation, B7-1 for white. B7-1's the chess code. You can look up chess openings on wikipedia.com, and it has a whole bunch of chess openings. So I'm just going to blaze through these real quick. First move is e4. Then Sicilian's presented with c5. Okay, Levenfish and Yugoslav say that the knight should move right here. We defend the pawn next. Okay, now we offer up the pawn as white. This is the pawn exchange for Sicilian defense. Levenfish takes with the knight, not the queen. Okay, out comes a common Sicilian development move, knight to f6, responded with knight to c3, and then we have g6 getting ready to fianchetto this dark squared bishop. Okay, now this is the Levenfish pawn move right now. When you move your pawn on this f file to f3, this is more of a Yugoslav attack pawn chain right here, and the purpose of this chain is to prevent this bishop from accessing this, and this square. And this square, because you have this knight. So, really, bishop can only move these two squares. That's the purpose of the Yugoslav. But the Levenfish is a more aggressive variation. So, white plays f4 at this move. Okay. Now, because Yugoslav wasn't presented and the white didn't move the pawn there, black decides to move the bishop to g4. Directly attacking the queen, and white decides to gain some time before having to deal with that bishop, so white checks the king. Black defends with knight on the b file to d7, and then white buys more time and takes again, putting the king in check again. So this queen's relatively safe right now, and the queen takes with d7. Now the queen moves out of the way, and the pawn thrusts forward, attacking this knight. So white merely avoids that and gets in the way of the bishop. Let's exchange bishops. Black agrees, exchanges bishop for the knight. Still even on material at this point, but now they're both with the knight bishop pair, white and black, and they have the same common colored bishop, dark colored bishops. So queen takes f3, and then this is the move that Spassky plays. It is dragon variation. Dragon variation is supposed to be offensive, a very sharp attack. That's the goal. So queen to g4 is played, and this is the point where black messes up and resigns within a move's time. So what's the queen doing right here? The queen has these nice diagonals, these nice long diagonals, but really that diagonal is being undermined by this pawn, and that one's being undermined by this pawn. So the only place this queen has to go is right there or right there. And so Spassky just decides to play it very aggressive and moves the queen to g4. But what's the queen doing right here too? The queen's also defending. Now, one of my favorite things to do with a knight is to put it right there. But how am I going to put it right there? This queen needs to move out of the way. So whenever you see your king and your castle and your rook haven't been castled yet on queen side, and the queen has vacated the premises, always ask yourself, can I move my knight and fork those two and get a free rook? That would be wonderful. Can I? So, well, Spassky moves queen to g4, and this is the question that Korchnoi asks himself. Can I move my knight right there? Where am I going to have to go? Well, I could go right there, says Korchnoi, and the next move, get right here. Or, I can go right there. Now, why is this a superior move? This is a superior move to queen to b5. Queen to d5 is superior because it undermines the protection behind this queen right here. And if you want to, and it still threatens the knight going to c7. So, and if it goes to c7, Spassky now loses a rook. So really, the queen can't really ignore that. Well, maybe it might be able to ignore that. It might be able to ignore that fact